It's time to re-enter the cage, find out all the buffs and nerfs that happened in this latest patch, as I hereby summon all my imps to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So we had a new patch. This is the last patch before the next OTA big buff that might happen here. That'll happen on next Tuesday with a lot of the big beach changes, but there are some notable ones in here. These are all currently live as the time I am putting this out. So let's go through them real quick. Not a lot to go through, but some interesting ones that I want to talk about. So first up, let's talk about the 5 cards that got changed this time around. The first one is I want to talk about a little bit is Spider-Man 2099, because they call this a buff. Spider-Man went from 4.6 to a 5.9, and technically speaking, it is a buff, because going from 4.6 to 5 should make it a 5.7. If you went up 1 power, you should go up 1 energy, and vice versa. And if you are to look at Spider-Man by just his power point, it's one of the highest power points. If you look at it, it's the same level as Abomination. But the problem is they keep saying they want to make move better. And basically right now, Spider-Man 2099 is fighting point for point and spot for spot for the era that's sitting right next to it. And nobody's playing Abomination just for its stats on its own. You're always playing Abomination with high evolutionary. And at least when you go with Arrow, you know that the effect's going to take place and you have a chance to set it up beforehand. The problem is that Spider-Man 2099 almost needs to come down like the other way. If you look at the move side here, so let's just go to move for a second. We look at the stuff. There's really not too much in one. You've got Nightcrawler and you've got a Human Torch and maybe Iron Fist and Ghost Spider, but that's more Activator. If you move to 2, you have Silk and you've got Multiple Man as your main cards that you want to move. So in 1, the cards that you made and you want to move are Nightcrawler and Human Torch. And then in 2, the cards that you want to move are the Silk and maybe the Multiple Man. And even Silk is kind of a stretch. There's more Silk and Dagger. And then you move to 3. And the only card that you really want to move is Vulture. So moving Spider-Man down to 3, Spider-Man 29 down to 3 would actually give it the second card that you want in 3. And then the rest of these cards in 3, do you really want to move? And now when you move to 4, there's really not a single card in here that you want to move now. None of these cards are cards that you want to move. They're all activators. So why it got taken out of 4, I don't know. Why it can't activate 3 times, I don't know, because if you compare it side by side to Gambit, it should be the same power, same toughness as Gambit, and be able to do the same thing as Gambit. Activated 3 times is not hard for Gambit to do. I've seen Gambit go off 100 times in the game. Having Spider-Man 2099 go off 3 times and have it change to the first time this moves to a new location, destroy an enemy card there, that's fine. Just let it go off 3 times. Let it go off once when it moves out of its location, and then twice more when it moves into the other 2 locations. It would be hard enough to get this to me 3 times, and having this down to 3 to go with Spider-Man, having a 3/3 would be great. You have so much activation there. On turn 5, the only thing that works on turn 6 for move is basically the Heimdall. Heimdall's moving you, and let's see what else could probably move you at that point. The Ghost Spider could probably move you, and that's it. Because you can't use the Iron Fist unless you're really setting up weirdly, and then you're taking a way weird ton. I don't know what to point on for then if you're trying to make the Iron Fist happen. So the next one up for us is the big buff that everybody's talking about, and that's Mr. Luke Cage. Luke Cage went from a 2/3 to a 3/4, so went up in 1 in stats, 1 in power, how it should be, and it got back his aura effect. Nobody cared what his stats were. Everybody liked what his aura was. It's nice that he's now a card that has to have a hold instead of a card that people just threw in because they were so tired of seeing Toxic. This is a card that needs to exist to keep Toxic in balance. Next up for us, we have the Hulkbuster, which I am calling a buff, even though Second Dinner is trying to say this is a nerf, because technically it's a nerf. It goes down 1 in power, because it goes from a 3 to a 2, and it goes down 2 in strength, because it goes from a 5 to a 3. Nobody's gonna care. And what really upsets me about this is the fact that the reason that they say that this card needed to be buffed, or nerfed I should say, was due to Deadpool. And this doesn't part Deadpool in low least. You play Deadpool on 1, you play Hulkbuster on 2, and that's as good, if not better, than playing Deadpool on 1 and playing Carnage on 2. That puts your Deadpool straight off the bat up to a 1/4. If you want to make Hulkbuster not work for Destroy in the future, you need to have this card do a complete rework on it. There's 2 things that you could do with Hulkbuster, both which I think would make it so that it wouldn't work in Destroy anymore. One is that you can make it so that Hulkbuster gave indestructible to whenever it was put on. I don't think that'd be too broken. You might have to change its cost down at that point, but I don't think it'd be too broken. Another one that I could see happen with Hulkbuster, which would be kind of interesting, is if you made it so that if something destroyed the card that Hulkbuster was equipped to or merged with, the Hulkbuster would remove, but the main card would stay. Now I know that might be a little bit wordy to put on a card, but I don't think it's that complicated of an effect to understand that instead of destroying the card, you destroy the Hulkbuster instead. Maybe the Hulkbuster be the top card going forward instead of being the card that's underneath, so you know, wow, understand that you have a Hulkbuster out on the field. I think that could be interesting, and that would make it so that Destroy could never use Hulkbuster again, and it'd be more for move and more for interesting other niche decks. Just giving it indestructible might be interesting too, to have it so that you can give any one card in Marvel Snap indestructible if you needed it to, for a higher cost maybe even at that point. Next up for us are some of the weirdest ones that I've seen on this patch. The ones I'm like, did somebody ask for this? Which is, first up is Ghost. Ghost went from a 1/2 to a 3/5. according to Second Dinner, they basically said that the 1-2 and the ability on Ghost is a negative effect instead of a positive effect. Going no ass, they consider negative. Revealing no ass, that's what they consider negative. And if you look at the 3 drops, it's not that bad of a 3 now. You look in all the 3s here, it's falling into the realm of basically being a wave, or a viper, or a Spider-Man. I mean, you even have Polaris, or a Lady Sif. This effect is, I do not feel is bad enough for you not to maybe play this. Yes, I understand that the smoke monsters out there, and this might bite you. But other than that, I think a lot of times going last can be an advantage, especially if you're playing stuff like Shang-Chi in your deck. So this one's an interesting buff. I just don't know who asked for it. And the last one on our list for today is Heimdall. And Heimdall is technically a buff. You could call it a buff if you want to. I mean, he goes from being a 6'8 to a 6'9. So that basically puts him right in the place of being right below Shang-Chi again and moving everything over. But the part that's not sure if that matters. If Heimdall became a 6'12, a 6'14, a 6'22, I know he won't ever be that, by the way. I'm not sure how much it would really hurt Heimdall, because the only thing that he ever worries about would be a Shang-Chi then. Because other than that, what else does he ever worry about? For most players, you know if they're going to play Heimdall by turn 4, and they'll find the Heimdall whether you play cards or whether you don't play cards. Glob move have a more unique, more flavored, more big stuff deck. Heimdall needs to do something more interesting. Imagine if they took Heimdall instead of moving everything to the left. If they made Heimdall have more power for everything that moves so far in the game. Every card that moves in the game. Now maybe that doesn't quite fit Heimdall, because he's supposed to be like the operator of the bridge and helping other people move with the activation of the bridge. But a could status hit still work for him, and then move would have that nice big yummy end card that every other deck seems to have, other concept seems to have. That move just seems to be missing. Either that or find some way, and I don't know how you do it, but find some way where Heimdall can do left or right. I think that'd be interesting. When you play him down, you can choose left or right. I don't know how complicated that would be to program, but there's gotta be a way that you could program cards that they could do more than one thing, especially if this game's gonna win in the long time. You need cards that do two things. You need cards that would let you go left or right. Because Heimdall being able to go left or right would change move in a heartbeat. And I don't think that'd be too broken to just decide which way you wanted to go. Anyways, not too big of a patch today. A nice little taste of the patches and things that they're looking forward into the future. We'll see what they do on next Tuesday and see if that makes a big difference in the game. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, remember, play for fun.